is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? We have a pretty interesting show for you today, a really good show. We will be discussing my thoughts on the NBA Finals so far, as the OKC Thunder are one win away from getting the NBA championship. Then after that, I will be discussing for most of this video the Desmond Bane trade to the Magic. I actually think that this trade was a very great trade for the Orlando Magic, but we'll get into all of that after the intro. I'm Stephen Connor. I'm here to give you a show. You're tuning into the Stephen Connor Show. On everybody, before we get started, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also hit that post notification bell so we can get notified whenever I upload a video. Without further ado, let's get started. So I want to start off real quick discussing the NBA Finals. I'll be doing a whole different recap about this later on once the finals is over with. However, I want to talk about how I really enjoyed this finals. Did I think that the Indiana Pacers would get here? Absolutely not. I'm not going to front y'all. I did not believe that. However, at the end of the day, this team is a really good team, and I really think that we should no longer sleep on the Pacers. At the very least, they took the best team by far in the NBA to 6 games, at least. And they have you on the edge of your seat, have your toes curling every single time. Every single game, because you never know if they're going to come back or not. Don't matter how much time on the clock is left, they could still possibly come back. And it's just been fun, and I've just really been entertained. The Halliburton injury sucks. It really does. And I looked at the odds, and it's crazy that the Pacers have better odds of winning the finals next year than they do winning Game 6 tomorrow. And they're in the finals right now. I just think that's absolutely insane to me. But like I said, this NBA Finals set off a train reaction in the NBA because we have teams saying we're a Scotty Barnes away from being contenders, and now we got teams saying we're Kevin Durant away, Giannis away, you know. And then you got teams, like I said, Scotty Barnes, Trae Young, but Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane has been traded by the Memphis Grizzlies to the Orlando Magic in a crazy package. A crazy package. The Orlando Magic shipped off, let me go to it. So, the I'm waiting for it to load. But the Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane for KCP and for four unprotected first-round picks. Woo! Woo! KCP, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks. They gave it up for Desmond Bane. And it makes sense to me why they gave it up for Desmond Bane. Because this team, if you want the specifics, I'll link the ESPN article in the description. But this trade makes sense to me. It really does. It makes the most sense to me. And I say it makes the most sense to me because the Magic have struggled from three-point. They have struggled with three-pointers. Looking here, they finished dead last in three-point percentage. They didn't even crack 32%, 31.8%. And then you look at three-pointers made per game, it was 11.2, which was also dead last. They signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and hoping he would help them out with threes and all that stuff. We heard different rumors of different people that they were possibly looking into. I heard rumors of Trae Young, and KCP is not what he once was, and it wasn't working. He didn't perform as well, and he dropped significantly. So you take that into account, and then you look, and you're like, okay, so what are we going to do? You look at the Pacers. You look at the East. The East is wide open. It's like anyone can come out of the East right now. And that's the truth. It is. They looked at Darius Garland, we heard about too. And that didn't happen. Trae Young didn't happen. So they went out and they got Desmond Bane. And Desmond Bane can give you 25 points a game. Desmond Bane could score over 20 points a game. He could be a fringe all-star. He can be a borderline all-star. You have Pablo. You have Franz. You have Jonathan Isaac. You have Jalen Suggs. This team is going to cost money, no doubt, eventually. However, we don't know what the ceiling is for this team. This team could go on to do really great things. And if you're a Magic fan, after all these years of tanking, after all these years of being in the lottery, it's over. It's finally over. It's finally over. You traded away your picks. You're going all in. The Magic believe that they are contenders and that this trade is going to take them over the top. And you don't know what? I agree with them. I think this trade could put them over the top. I actually think the Magic are contenders in the East, and I think the Magic is a really good team. I really do. I think they're a really good team. Did they show it this year? They went 41-41. So I can understand why people might be like, Steven, what are you talking about? Steven, what are you talking about? You're just yapping, bro. You're just yapping, man. I'm not just yapping. I'm not just yapping. The reason why they went 41-41 this year is because of injuries. If it wasn't for injuries, who knows where this team would have gotten? And with their younger players getting better each year, and them adding a player like Desmond Bane and having three people who could give you 20 plus points on any given night, having a really good defense, and now having that 3-point shooter that you desperately needed, that scorer, that shooter you desperately needed, paired with a good defense, sky is the limit for this team. And we are going to see what the Orlando Magic are capable of now. I get people's concerns. They trade all these picks. They overpaid for Desmond Bane. They might have overpaid for Desmond Bane in your eyes, but in my opinion, they desperately needed Desmond Bane, and he is what's going to set them over the top. I do believe that. I think the Desmond Bane trade is a really great trade for the Orlando Magic, and I think this is what they needed to do. I really do, because they needed that scorer. And now we get to see what they're really capable of. Now we get to see what they're going to do. And now they get to make some real noise in the Eastern Conference. Moving on, we're going to talk about the Grizzlies side of things. They have the first round picks now. They have Anthony. They got KCP. The reason why they did this is, number one, for money reasons, I believe. Because Triple J, John Morant, and Desmond Bane were going to be expensive. And I just said that it's going to get expensive for Orlando too. But the difference is we don't know what the ceiling is for Orlando, but we know what the ceiling for Memphis is. Memphis has reached their ceiling for Ja, Triple J, and Desmond Bane. They tried to redo the offense this year, retoored it. They were the second seed at one point. They fell all the way to the 8th seed, and not only that, they fired their head coach, and they couldn't contend with the best team in the league. They couldn't contend. They were outclassed and outmatched by the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's time to blow it up. They said they was fine in the West a few years ago. They're not. They weren't. They had their back-to-back 2 seeds, I believe, a 2 seed a couple of times. Made it to the second round one year, but couldn't make it past the first round. They couldn't replicate the success they had in a regular season. No matter how cool it was, no matter how fun those teams were, they could not succeed in the postseason. And this is Memphis realizing it. Their front office realizing, hey, and they've acknowledged that, hey, we've reached our ceiling. We did all we can with this team. Now, I don't think they're going to rebuild. They're going to pay Jaren Jackson Jr., and they're going to keep Ja around. However, I don't think they're going to go out and get a superstar like Kevin Durant. I don't think that this is the direction that this team is going in. I believe this team is just going to retool, refuel, and build around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. and continue to build a new offensive identity. It would have been nice if they kept Desmond Bane. It would have been nice, but guess what? Guess what? They got an offer that they could not refuse for Desmond Bane. And they got the offer. They said, you know what? This is too good. We cannot pass this up. And we can use these other picks and other assets we receive in this to trade for some solid key role players. I believe the era of big threes are over with. I believe that's over with. You need a good player, 2 good star players possibly, and depth. That's what you need. That's what teams who've been running, or a really good starting lineup and good depth, because that's what it's been lately. The days, I heard someone say, the days of having LeBron, Chris Bosh, and D Wade, and then having Asian Mike Miller, Ray Allen, Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole. Those days is over if you win it like that. I forget who said that. I watched their video talking about that. But they're right. It's true. That's true. Those days are over. It's a new day. It's a new age in the National Basketball Association. I believe the Big Three era is dead. You need a good starting lineup, and you need a good bench. You need depth in order to win. Look at the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and did not make the playoffs. Didn't even make the play-in. You want to know why they didn't make the play-in? You want to know why they didn't make the playoffs, even though they have two great scorers? Because they did not have depth. They did not have depth. Look at Orlando. Orlando were able to keep their depth. They were able to keep their depth and bring in another addition to this team. If you look at Memphis, that's what I believe they're going to do. They're going to go out. They're going to trade for depth. So I don't think that they're going to rebuild. I don't think they're getting rid of Ja. I think they're going to pay Jaren Jackson Jr. And that's going to be a lot of money. I don't know when, but they're going to pay him in the next couple of years. And with that being said, like I said, I think they're going to retool this team and they're going to try to make them contenders in the West. Because like I said, the current team that they have are not contenders in the West, especially without Desmond Bane now. They're a step down in my opinion. Because Desmond Bane held it down when Ja was out, when Ja was dealing with all that stuff off the court, on the court stuff, all that stuff. He stepped up in a big way. And now Orlando has the piece that they needed. And now Memphis can go and get some good role players and see what their new ceiling is and try out the new offense with the new head coach. It's just a small little rebuild to me I'm not even going to call it a small rebuild. It's just a retooling to build around Ja and Triple J going on. And the Magic are going all in to contend. So I think this makes sense for both teams. I honestly do. In conclusion, I think this move puts the Orlando Magic over the top and make them automatic contenders in the Eastern Conference. And I think this trade makes sense for Memphis because they have reached their ceiling. They do not need to pay all three of them that money if they cannot contend with the best team. And I don't think they're going to go out and get a superstar. I just think they're going to add some very good role players to the rotation and to the team and retool this team and see what the new ceiling is for this team. Alrighty, that's it for me. You let me know your thoughts down below on the Orlando Magic and Memphis Grizzlies trade. Like I said, it makes a lot of sense for both teams. Orlando finally gets the shooter, the offensive player they really needed to go along with the defense. And like I said, the Grizzlies, if this is it for the Grizzlies, if this is the only move they make this offseason, I feel bad for Grizzlies fans. Ooh, I would be upset because then you're wasting Ja's time and Jaren Jackson Jr.'s time, even though Jaren Jackson Jr. ain't really do so hot in the playoffs this year. But still, you're wasting their time. I hope this is not it for Memphis. I hope this is not the only move they make. But I do think they're going to go out and get some role players and some more depth to help this team out. All right, y'all. Until next time, I am Steven Conner, and this has been the Steven Conner Show. Be good people. Steven Conner out. Peace.